Hey, it's Brooks. I'm going to let you guys join me today with the GoPro on a powder coating session. I'm going to be shooting this tailpiece hinge that I make up for my builds. So what you see in here is a prep piece. It's stainless steel. Generally I will just polish these up and present them as finished stainless. But I'm going to try powder coating today. This is a little extra piece that's hanging around, so I just figured we'd go ahead and try it on it. So I'm going to start by cleaning it. I just used parts cleaner the other day and it worked real well. So got my oven cooking there, 500 degrees. Show you the little rig over here. I'm going to get things hooked up to the compressor in just a second, get things plugged in and squared away. Otherwise, this is the rig. What's going on here is this piece of wire is bent to fit in my little baking oven I made, but it also doubles as a spraying rack. So I use picture wire, and it makes a nice metal conductor there that carries the charge to the finished piece. So then I just fit it into this little guy, and I have access to both sides of the piece for the paint job. When I'm done with that, I carefully pull this out, carry it back over the oven, and it's good to go. So for right now, we're just going to start by shooting some cleaner over this and wiping it down a little. It's hot over there. So I got my couple different fire extinguishers around this oven. You know, it's a toaster oven. Got to be careful with it. So I'm just going to start by physically wiping any residue off. This is quick drying contact cleaner for electronics. You go buy it at Home Depot. It seems to work real well to degrease these parts and get them ready for paint. Anything that won't come off, I've got a brush. So I'll just make sure to clean all this brass residue off the stainless here, but it gets into the cracks and crevices. I'm kind of testing to see if this will fill some of these divots and cracks, because I spent a lot of time with my finishing hammer. It needs a little bit of a touch up. But anyway, what that comes down to is I do some old school metal smithing, flat steel work with the hammers and an anvil to get these things flat. Just tiny little bumps with a hammer repeatedly gets things nice and flat if you're working against a flat surface. So then you're able to take the surface, file it down, get it to a nice shine. But I'm kind of curious as to how much this powder coat will fill in, so we'll find out, I guess. Don't really want to touch the piece. Get your oils on it, but you gotta make sure to get it all. So I'll just clean that top again. Alright, just gonna let that air dry for a few minutes. It's got a nice little heat sensor from Home Depot here, or Lowe's, wherever. I can shoot it in the corner of this thing and get a fair read at what's coming out, so I know what's inside. It's probably about 500 degrees in there, maybe a little hotter. Got this little lid fit so that helps preserve the heat, but I want to be quick about this next step so I don't leave that oven unattended. So we're just going to make quick work of it. It's that cleaner is already dry, so we can just go ahead and get right into this powder coating system here. Everything's all pre-charged, ready to go. The only thing we really need to do is get our ground hooked up. So the nice thing about this little system is you just hook the alligator clip up and bam, there you go. So when I engage this switch, now that piece is charged and it will attract the powder coating paint. So it's a pretty simple procedure. Here we go. That would help if it was on, yeah? There's the click. Just kind of getting the hopper filled up. So I got a pretty heavy build in that area there. I think I want to knock that off and start again. So that's the beauty of it. Just turn the machine off, unhook your ground. We're totally disconnected here. Just take that. Essentially, we can wipe it off and try again. And take a little air to that. And we're good to go. Alright, let's try this again. See, everything doesn't always go the way you want it to go. Just gotta plan and overcome. So let's get this right. Our ground hooked up. And our hopper chucked up. Turn our on button. Charge. You can see it sticking to the metal. Alright, not going to connect anything. I'm going to turn that off. Disconnect this carefully. Go ahead and spin the piece. You can see the back side needs a little bit of work, so we'll just go to it now. Everything looks really well covered. So I'm going to call it good there, and we'll go to the baking procedure. So I'm going to prep the oven up real quick for two reasons. One, so it gets a smooth transition. Two, so I don't electrocute myself. We're going to start by unplugging it. There's obviously it's an electric oven. And if I touch metal or touch those elements in there, I'm going to potentially get a pretty good shock. So take our two pieces out, make that easy access. Now we'll take this carefully, remove it from its little holder. This is the hardest part, honestly, walking. It's like carrying a pot of water on your head. Not always easy. So I'm going to line up so I know which side this is going in. It's going to rotate down carefully. Open that up. And this just sits. This is the part why I'm unplugging here. If I was to bump into the sides, I'd get a pretty substantial shock. So see how it keys in there and closes up. Take those guys. Oh, that's touching. And she's off. 20 minutes. I will check back in with you shortly. All right.